Japan's Prime Minister has won the biggest election victory in that country's history. Her coalition now has more than 3/4 of all lower house seats. The win gives a strong mandate to her platform focused on national security and the cost of living. Let's go live to Director of the ANU's Australia-Japan Research Centre, Professor Shiro Armstrong. Shiro, you just got back from Tokyo, I know. Give us a sense of how important this result is in the context of a bit of stability or certainty for Japanese government.
Yeah, hi, Kieran. Thanks for having me on. As you say, it's a very big win. The LDP, the ruling Liberal Democratic Party, had a minority in both the upper house and lower house, and now, as you say, a big majority in the lower house. So that's a supermajority that bypasses the upper house. And Prime Minister Takaichi now has a strong mandate, which she didn't have because it was an internal LDP process that she won earlier, not a general election. And the important thing, as you say, is stability, political stability in Japan. This is very good for Australia and Japan working together. We've got political stability in the bilateral relationship. And Japan, of course, is a very important economy, very important country in our region. So this is a positive, somewhat surprising result, given how weak the LDP was and has been. It's been sort of structurally getting weaker and weaker, but she converted her personal popularity into a very strong electoral win for the LDP.
Yeah, she's certainly a character and is showing a bit of character as well when it comes to China. What does it mean for the China relationship, which is so critical, not just for Japan, but the region?
Yeah, look, that's a key relationship between Japan and China, and one that I think she'll be trying to repair. The current mess that the bilateral relationship is in, Japan and China, was her really getting tripped up early on in her prime ministership. And she's known as a bit of a hardliner on China, so it didn't hurt her popularity. In fact, that's one of the reasons that helped her get such a strong electoral win. But she does have key advisors around her, same advisors from former Shinzo Abe, his prime ministership, who are moderates who helped Prime Minister Abe repair the relationship with China. And I think she'll be looking to do the same. This is not an intentional play by Prime Minister Takaichi with China. And that is such an important economic relationship and difficult politically. Has to be managed, and I think that's what she'll now be able to turn her attention to with such a strong mandate.
Yes, and the other issue I wanted to ask you about is the spending question. I know that she does have quite significant plans on that front. Is it sustainable, and is it what Japan needs?
Oh, look, she took to the election a mandate to fix the cost of living by spending more, and she has not been shy about spending more on defence, tax cuts, including the consumption tax cut, although she's starting to walk that back now. But she calls it responsible, proactive public finances, and I think a lot of people in Japan are actually quite worried about this. You know, it's popular with the voters, but they have inflation now for the first time in 20 years or so. So 2% inflation, which seems about right. That's the target for the Bank of Japan. But to be spending so much, and we're talking about record budgets that she had sewn up before the election, now she's got a mandate to go bigger, that could add inflationary pressures. In Japan, it matters much more than it does here, actually, and as painful as it is anywhere. Japan's public debt is about 240% of GDP, oh, wow. And that's off the charts. That's the highest anywhere in the world. And inflationary pressures mean long-term interest rates are going up. They have been going up for the last 6 months, and her announcements and spending announcements have further increased them. So what that means is the bond yields, the cost of government borrowing is going up. And when you're trying to service a debt of 240% of GDP, you get pretty worried about defaulting on that debt. So the markets are watching closely. A lot of people up there, I think, in Japan are quite worried. But as I said, she's walked back the consumption tax cut that she promised, and maybe will find a way through this without, as many people are saying, becoming the next Liz Truss and coming in with a big spending plan with no proper plan to consolidate fiscally in the medium term, which could spell disaster for her and for Japan. So let's hope that the economic policies she gets right. It's not a zero inflation environment like it has been in the past.
Professor Shiro Armstrong from the ANU, great to get your insights as always. Thanks.
Thanks, Kieran.